What's up, everyone? John Manson here for See Red. Want to take a moment to say make sure you go out and subscribe. If you're watching these videos and have in the past, really help us out. You hit the subscribe button on YouTube, share the video, leave comments below. We're happy to answer some questions you may have as we come down towards the end of the college football season. 3 games left, maybe 4, as the Flames try to get to bowl eligibility and 6 wins. And so we're going to talk about that. But make sure you go ahead and subscribe and share the video with those Flame fan friends you have in your life. But yeah, let's look at this Liberty football game as the Flames get ready to take on FIU in Miami, Florida. Certainly don't have to worry about the heat with the game being here in mid-November. An evening game as well. A little bit of a cold front, if you want to call it, has gone through South Florida. But again, it's not Lynchburg where we've been in the 20s and 30s in the lows this week. So, but anyways, it's Liberty and FIU. It's homecoming for the Panthers this weekend, so they should have a decent crowd. It's never been a large home field advantage for them, but they should have a decent crowd with it being homecoming. It's also Sunblazer night, so they'll have special graphics on the field, assuming they've done what they've done in the years past, and then also a special uniform for this game. So they'll be excited, and that's one thing in Conference USA. Anytime Liberty faces a Conference USA member, these teams kind of have this game circled against Liberty, certainly when it's a home game for them. So, especially with what Liberty did in 2023, with what the resources Liberty has, these teams no doubt will not be overlooking the Flames or taking them lightly. In spite of a losing record that Liberty currently has, sitting here at 4-5 going into this game. And for this one, I think it really, honestly, it comes down to the mindset for Liberty. I mean, if you look at FIU, they're also 4-5, but for them, they're feeling pretty good. First-year head coach Willie Simmons has got them where, I mean, they've already won more games than they did in the prior 3 seasons. I take that back. They were 4-8 3 straight years under Mike McIntyre, previous head coach. Now they're 4-5, so they're trying to get to first of all over 4 wins for the first time in several years. But even more than that, get to a bowl game for the first time since COVID. They haven't been to a bowl game since 2019, and that's certainly something that they are playing for and that they want. So they'll be amped up and ready for that. That they're feeling pretty good coming off their win last week at Middle Tennessee, where they put up 56 points behind their backup quarterback Joe Pasansky. Um, and Joe didn't find out he was starting that game until Saturday morning. Kewan Jenkins, who was Conference USA preseason Offensive Player of the Year and has been the starting quarterback for the last 2 seasons. This is the third year he's been starting for FIU. Suffered a little bit of a growing injury in the fourth quarter of their prior game and exited, did not return. Pazansky came in and finished that game out, and then he was listed as questionable for the game at Middle Tennessee. He was in uniform and on the sidelines, but did not play. As Pazansky, put up a lot of good numbers. I mean, he had 5 touchdowns, the first time an FIU player has ever scored 5 or accounted for 5 touchdowns in a single game. He was 17 of 28 passing for 257 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did have 2 interceptions. Pazansky's a first-year guy at FIU after transferring from Holy Cross, where he was a starter last season, started all 12 games, and he's a veteran, and certainly a capable backup behind Kewan Jenkins. And they're kind of different players, too. So Coach Simmons hasn't been, he's kind of keeping it close to his vest, if you want to call it, if that's fair to say. Has not named a starter for this week, seeing that both Jenkins and Pazansky are getting reps in practice. Both of them are preparing to play this game this week. Apparently, Jenkins also has a rib injury, something that's come out this week. So he is banged up. Um, I expect Bazansky to play to start the game, maybe play the whole game, depending on how things are going. Certainly I could be wrong in that. But like I said, they're different types of quarterbacks. Bazansky gives the Panthers more of a passing threat. Not that Jenkins can't pass, but he's only thrown for 6 touchdowns all season. 142 of 225 for 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Where, like I said, Bazinski had 4 touchdown passes just in one game last week at Middle Tennessee, and Jenkins is much more of a dual threat option. With him and their running back Kewan Owens. The Panthers have had one of the top rushing offenses in Conference USA, second in the league in rushing, only behind Jacksonville State. And we saw what the Gamecocks did to the Flames back early in the season. That was a long time ago, back in week 2. But, that was a lot of the talk early in the season was how Liberty didn't have a lot of success against teams with good running offenses. And we saw that against Jack State. Also a little bit against Bowling Green, and then against JMU as well some. But Liberty's been pretty solid against the run recently. But again, you got to take that with a grain of salt with who they've played. I mean, Missouri State, Delaware, those are pass first teams. Even New Mexico State prior to that entered the game against Liberty as the worst rushing offense in the country. So. It's going to be a task for this Liberty defensive front, the Liberty defense, trying to slow down this rushing attack, regardless of who quarterback is. Obviously, if Jenkins is in there, you got to account for him too. And Pazinski, certainly he can move the ball with his feet too, but that's not really his strength. Owens, the running back, he's second in the conference in rushing. One of only 2 guys averaging over 100 yards on the ground. The other one being Cam Cook at Jack State. He's closing in. Owens, that is closing in on a school record for rushing yards in a season, which the all-time record is 1,159, and he's already up to 955 with 3 games left to play. So, Owens, Jenkins, if he goes, and Pasansky at quarterback. Those 3 guys, at least 2 of them will play, right? Potentially all 3 if Jenkins gets on the field. Will play, and there'll be a challenge for Liberty in this Liberty defense. Alex Perry is the top pass catcher. He has 34 catches for 479 yards, leads the league with 5 touchdowns. A couple other guys in the receiving game as well too that play a role. And then looking at the defense, FIU has kind of struggled on defense this season. 9th in the league, giving up right at 30 points a game. 11th in total defense, allowing opponents to have 409 yards of offense. Also 11th in pass defense. Teams are throwing for 264 yards a game. They're decent against the run, coming in 5th in Conference USA. So this is a game that you would like to think that Liberty's offense could find some success. And again, it like every week, it comes down to turnovers, not hurting yourselves. And like I was saying, it comes down to the mindset. But like if Liberty's locked in and ready to go for this game, I feel like it's one that they can and really should win. I mean, you see that as Liberty is the favorite. 2.5, 3.5 points, depending on where you look. And, but FIU is going to be looking to make a statement, pick up a win at home for homecoming and get one step closer to bowl eligibility. And their schedule does not get any easier. They've got Jack State coming up, who is unbeaten in conference play. So this is a game at home that they definitely feel like they need to win to keep their bowl eligibility hopes alive and to get over 4 wins, and get to a 5th win that they haven't had. The previous coach did not win 5 games in a season in his 3 years. So, but yeah, for Liberty, it's turnovers. If you can limit turnovers or win the turnover margin, and be able to move the ball on the ground. We've seen Liberty rush for over 200 yards each of the last 2 weeks. The first two times that's happened all season. But if I'm FIU, I'm loading up the box and daring the Flames to throw down the field and make the Flames beat them vertically in the vertical passing game. We haven't seen a ton of that. I mean, sure, Dante Lee's got behind defenses some, but half the time it seems like he's gotten behind the defense. The throw has misfired um, from Ethan Vasco, and he obviously was struggling some last week. I mean, he's shown flashes, like he has the potential to get it done, but every time you start to feel good about him, he has a poor game, just inconsistencies, and it's really been inconsistencies the whole across the whole team. Whether you're talking about defense or offense or whatnot. Maybe the special teams unit has been the most consistent here in the last half of the season. But like I said, I think it comes down to the mindset. I feel like FIU, Liberty's going to get their best shot, and then for Liberty, are they going to be motivated? Will they be able to bounce back from that loss? And it's really a heartbreaking, a devastating, maybe even a demoralizing loss to Missouri State at home, losing to a first-year FBS program. No offense to Missouri State. I mean, they're a decent team. They've won 6 games this season, and will probably win a couple more. But and they may make a bowl game, and they're technically not eligible in their first year in the FBS. But um, they no offense to them, but it's a first year FBS program. Liberty's been in the FBS for several years, been in the Fiesta Bowl just a couple years ago. You're playing at home. That's a game you have to win. This game, Liberty, outgained them by more than 200 yards of total offense in the first half. Was only up 10-0. Should have been more than that. The offense wasn't able to take advantage of the defense's strong play in the first half, and then the offense wasn't able to put the game away in the fourth quarter. I mean, got the ball back with about 5.5 minutes left in the game, but came one first down away, one first down short of getting the necessary first downs to milk the clock and not give the ball back to the Bears, and then the defense were just playing on their heels and unable to get a stop. 4 plays, 70 yards. So, like I said, demoralizing loss. How do you bounce back from that? The last month, last 6 weeks, Liberty's been talking about, playing a championship game every week and staying in this Conference USA championship picture. Well, that's pretty much out the door now with that loss. And you got 3 tough games, the first 2 on the road. We'll learn a lot about this team, the locker room, the culture, and if they can rally together, band together, and play for one another, play for the senior class. You heard Coach Chadwell and some of the players talking this week about wanting to get to bowl eligibility and wanting to win a bowl game. Liberty hasn't won a bowl game since 2021, and wanting to do that for the seniors. And we'll see if that motivation is enough to keep the guys together. It's going to be interesting to see. But Saturday, 5 o'clock at Pitbull Stadium in Miami is on ESPN Plus. We'll certainly be providing plenty of content and coverage for this game for the Flames moving forward as we get towards the end of the season. And if you're Coach Chadwell, you certainly don't want to be the head coach to see some of these streaks come in. Talking about the bowl streak, and then also the winning at least 6 games, going on 20 years. This would be the 20th straight year Liberty's had at least 6 wins in a season. So you don't want to be the head coach to see those streaks come to an end. I mean, there's very few teams that have those type of streaks. And like I said, starting your FBS journey, making it to a bowl game each and every year, you don't want that streak to come to an end. It's something that, Liberty shouldn't be in a position like this, right? Like, you could, when we get to the off season, we can look back at some of these games and talk about, they should have won this game, should have won that game, and truthfully, if, one play goes a different way against Missouri State, you win that game. And if, a couple of plays against Jack State, a couple of plays against Bowling Green goes your way, you win that game. But you are who you are, right? Like, I mean, your record is who you are. and the Flames are 4-5. They're 3-2 in conference play. They're a middle of the pack Conference USA team that's fighting for bowl eligibility. That's who this team is this season. That's who they've proven to be. And kind of like I was saying last week, coming off that Delaware win, like seemed like things had turned. Things have gotten were gotten right, corrected. The ship was righted, but they were going to have to prove that against Missouri State that was that was the case, because up until that point that was just a one-off game. That was the anomaly, and if they were able to back that up with another strong showing, then they could prove that yes, they had turned the corner and they had turned the page and corrected things and found some answers. But we learned that wasn't the case, and what we saw Saturday against Missouri State has been what this team has been really all season, and even to the end of last season as well too. So this is a place Liberty finds themselves. This Liberty football team, Liberty football program finds themselves in a place they haven't been in a long time. I mean, a long time. Several years, maybe a decade plus. I don't know. I mean, there's very few people that expect Liberty to be able to win two of their last three to get to a bowl game. There's probably not many in the fan base that expect a win against FIU on Saturday, despite the Flames being slight favorites. That's just where this team finds themselves at. It's just them and themselves, nobody else, right? I mean, that group inside of that Liberty Football Operations Center and the group that will be making the trip down to Miami. I mean, it's them and them against the rest of the world, if you want to put it in those type of terms. But um, you know, I, a lot of people have quote unquote fallen off the bandwagon and don't believe in them and things like that. Not that people have stopped supporting them or things, but it's just when a few losses come together or happen, confidence wanes, right? And certainly the confidence surrounding the Liberty football program outside of the Liberty Football Operations Center has waned. And let's see, what's the confidence like inside that room and inside that team and inside that program? What's the culture like? We'll learn here this week and throughout the rest of the season when your back's up against the wall and people are counting you out. You're going to be able to get things done, and we'll learn that. I think Liberty's really got it, their work cut out for themselves this week, going up against a hungry FIU team that wants bowl eligibility, that wants this win over Liberty, and this is a team that's never beaten the Flames. Liberty's kind of dominated them the last time the two met down in Miami, 38-6 back in that 2023 season. It wasn't really a contest. Liberty dominated from the jump, and then last year FIU took the Flames to overtime before that Christian Bodner highlight play that he had, the strip sack in overtime of Jenkins that secured the win. But FIU is going to be looking at this game wanting to get some revenge, if you want to call it that, but to make a statement that this program is moving in the right direction. So we'll just have to see what happens. We'll have to see if the Liberty football team shows up and how they perform and how they play. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. And of course, stay tuned to See a Red right here on YouTube, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, obviously at seeared.com. We'll have all the coverage continuing to lead up to the game and following the game and coverage around Liberty athletics, Liberty men's basketball, as well as the rest of sports around campus. We'll talk to you guys soon.